What's going on YouTube? JT is Reborn here, and welcome back to another edition of my DC comic book reviews. And in this video, we're going to be talking about Batman issue number 124. This one is written by Joshua Williamson with art by Howard Porter, and there's also a backup storyline featuring Poison Ivy Photosynthesis, written by Willow Wilson and Dani. Too good for last names, as I like to say, because they don't have their last name on there. I don't know why you wouldn't want to put your last name. But, you know, that's besides the point. Sorry, it's kind of an ongoing bit I have whenever that artist pops up in something. I just got to talk about it. But anyways, so Joshua Williamson's come back to write one other issue of Batman. Again, we just had Shadow War wrap up, and we have Dark Crisis coming out this week. So he's a very, very busy guy, it seems, at DC Comics. But this issue in particular feels kind of like a bit of a filler issue before the new creative team takes over. I believe it's going to be Chip Zdarsky next month. And this kind of deals with some of the falling out of Abyss and all that. Like, in terms of, like, what happened at the end of Shadow War, we don't really get much in terms of that, although we do get one reference here, which has me scratching my head, and it feels like they just kind of threw away the ending of Shadow War, and that's this one right here. So basically, Batman goes back to Badhnisia, or Badhnisia, because he hears sightings of Abyss. After Abyss, you know, like before Shadow War, like, you know, put Batman blind, kind of made him blind for a bit, like lose some of his sight. So he's coming back to kind of deal with the fallout of that. Oracle communicates with them, and we come to find more things. Damian and Talia are totally off radar after Talia escaped from the DEO. It says, read Robin 15 for the full story. So Robin 15 is going to have some big revelations, I guess. Although it's kind of leaving me disappointed, too, because it's just like, wasn't that the whole thing with Shadow Wars about Batman and Robin reuniting again after all the crap they've kind of been through? And then we had this moment where Talia turns herself in to the DEO. Like, why are we just throwing that all away? Like, I just feel like we just kind of wasted that ending. Again, I don't know the full context, so I'll have to see what Robin 15 has to do. But from kind of looking at this, that kind of leaves me disappointed. It just feels like all that stuff that we had kind of built up in that event, the reconciling of Damian with his parents. But no, and Talia turning herself in to kind of work with the DEO, that feels thrown away. So, and also we have Detective Comics, where Talia kind of showed up in that recently. So I guess that's after this. I really don't know what's going on. So that kind of leaves me scratching my head a bit. But I guess we'll worry about that when Robin 15 comes up. But in terms of right now, like on a surface level thing, I feel kind of disappointed by that. So I'm like, are we going back into the Batman and Robin fighting stuff again, or not on good terms? Like, enough of that already. I feel like we've done that to death. So yeah. But anyway, so Batman goes there. He confronts Abyss, and it turns out it's the detective, the detective Kaya, who he worked with at the start of the Williamson Batman run. But basically with her, she's trying to get to the bottom of like what happened to her parents' death. As you know, they referenced that earlier on. But she took on the role of Abyss, because like Abyss was kind of like something that people feared, kind of a symbol like Batman is. So they do some investigating. Eventually they do come to the conclusion about what happened to her parents. She's able to find their bodies after interrogating someone. She got close to crossing the line, but Batman kind of made her, like, you know, dictate her own decisions. He talks about a story about him and Joe Chill in the past where he confronted him, which is something that they've done so many times. There's a lot of variations of that Batman Joe Chill storyline. So we have that going on here, and then ultimately she kind of makes the right choice, and then that's kind of it. Not really that exciting. Again, feels like a bit of a filler thing. I kind of forgot about the Abyss story, if I'm being honest, because it wasn't that engaging. It felt like more like, okay, let's get into the setup of Shadow War. But there's kind of, and Batman Incorporated stuff, which it's setting up. As you can see here, it's like, okay, we should read Batman Incorporated. Next month, come back for a dawn of a bold new era and Batman 125. So the Chip Zdarsky thing. So like I said, this felt like a bit of a filler thing, but also kind of wrapping up lingering plot elements that Williamson kind of introduced with the whole Abyss thing. So I feel like this should have been like right before Shadow War, if I'm being honest. And then we got into Shadow War right afterwards, but, you know, because like I said, I kind of forgot what was going on, but that's kind of on me a bit too, because like I probably should have went back and reread it. But, you know, that's just kind of what it is. Like, I just feel like there's like some lingering disappointments from the events of Shadow War based on stuff in this thing. But like I said, it's just kind of an all right issue, all things considered. So if you want a conclusion of that, there you go. The backup storyline by Willow Wilson with art by Dani is a Poison Ivy one, and it's basically just a setup for her own series, which is going to be coming out. Is it coming out this month, I guess? by G. Willow Wilson. It's nothing all that special in my humble opinion. Basically, Poison Ivy is feeling a little... She's kind of losing her powers, I guess, after the events of Batman Fear State, where she was originally Queen Ivy, and then her other half kind of fused together, and then for whatever reason, she's losing her connection to the green everything, and she's kind of becoming more human again. Before she was, like Poison Ivy. Is it killing her? Is it just, she's trying to latch on to a little bit of power she has left? Yeah, that's kind of like the setup for this thing, and then they tease like the setup for like the whole Poison Ivy thing. The art by Dani is actually better than most of the stuff I've seen from this artist, especially when you go back and read Arkham City Order of the World. It's a little bit more clean cut. It could be like the colors or whatever combination here, but it looks a little bit stronger than it did there. Not my favorite in particular, but like I said, it's definitely an improvement, so that's a good sign. I don't know if I'll actually be reading that Poison Ivy thing. I don't really have like much interest in it. Poison Ivy's never been like my favorite Batman villain. I think there's been some good stuff with her, but like nowadays, like her only role seems to be like in conjunction with like Harley Quinn, which they do reference in the backup. Like, why don't you just go be with Harley, go be with Harley, go be with Harley, and then just kind of be happy. But Ivy's just kind of like, there's kind of like that addiction to like, I guess, that power that she had before when she was Queen Ivy, and now that she's lost it, she feels kind of empty. So there could be some interesting stuff set up in that whole Poison Ivy storyline, but as of right now, like I said, I'm not all that interested in what's going to happen in that story. So it's just kind of something I'm like, yeah, whatever. And that's kind of where I am at this particular issue. Like I said, I enjoyed like Williamson was doing with his brief time on Batman. And like I said, I liked Shadow War overall. I think it could have been a little bit stronger. Like, it's not the best Batman event that it could have been. Like, there's a few things I have gripes with. But I am looking forward to seeing what Chip Zdarsky does. And I did enjoy Williamson's stuff for the past couple months more than I did what Tynion was doing. Although Tynion was an improvement over Tom King. But now I feel like we're going to get back to, like, with Zdarsky going to be writing it, I feel like we're going to be in pretty good hands going forward. And you know what? Kudos to Williamson for what he did. But I am looking forward to... But he was basically just kind of like a fill-in. Like, he was like a sub for like a short period of time until like the new big creative team took over. Because Williamson's just writing like everything else right now. So I always knew his run on Batman was just going to be kind of short-lived. So yeah, look forward to that. If you have any thoughts on it, like I said, the artwork is fine. Not the strongest it's been. It's Howard Porter, and it's not my ideal sense of art, but there's still some good stuff in here. Like this shot right here of Batman on his little bat motorcycle. So yeah, like I said, there's some good stuff, but it's nothing all that spectacular, and it feels a bit like a filler until like the next creative team takes over. We're also kind of wrapping up lingering plot elements. Like I said, I feel like this should have been like an issue like right before Shadow War, but that's just me. So anyways, if you have any thoughts on Batman 124, let me know in the comment section down below. Be sure to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the YouTube channel for more content, hit the bell for notifications. Be sure to come back next time, as I'm going to be talking about Dark Crisis #1, and then I think that should be it in terms of videos for this week in terms of comic book stuff. So look forward to that. All right, well, that's all I got to say. As always, take care now. Bye-bye then, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.